Okay, the start of the 2024 NFL season is less than a week away, so it's time to look at some futures bets around the league. On this edition of Hittin the Books, I'm joined in studio by sports betting analyst, my guy, Curran Bhatia. What's going on, Curran?
Dexter, what's going on? We got the start of the NFL season. It's an exciting time.
It is an exciting time for football fans, for the football sports bettors. Really exciting. So, Curran, let's do this. There's a bunch of things we're going to get into here. But let's start by looking at betting on league MVP. Now, last year, Lamar Jackson, he won the award for the second time. And following winning his third Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes, he opens as the early favorite to be MVP of the 2024 season. Now, the value here is pretty good. At plus 600, that was early on, but the odds have lowered, as that always happens. Now he sits at plus 475 to win the award. The reigning MVP, Lamar Jackson, he's at plus 1,800, so people are not believing in him repeating as league MVP. Who do you like as the best bet to win league MVP this season?
My pick for league MVP in the NFL this season. No surprise here, Dexter. We're going Patrick Mahomes. You said it, plus 475. I like those numbers. I like that. Now, look at everything that Patrick Mahomes has done. Back-to-back Super Bowls, right? This is going to be going for the three-peat here. Two Super Bowl MVPs. Two regular season MVPs, I should say. 3 Super Bowl MVPs. 28 years old, very much in his prime. No reason to think that Patrick Mahomes isn't going to claim another MVP, right? Obviously, we know what the Kansas City Chiefs can go. Now, you mentioned there are other important figures in the conversation. Lamar Jackson, of course. Josh Allen was plus 850 as we talk about it here. Joe Burrow's another big pick, plus 900. There's also value on some people that maybe you haven't thought of. C.J. Stroud, plus 850. Jordan Love, he's got a young team around him. He's at plus 1,400. Now, Dexter, I'm going to give you, I know you like dark horses.
I love dark horses.
To think a little bit outside of the box, right? Because Patrick Mahomes, he's great. He's one of the best of all time. But everyone has him on this radar. So we, of course, are representing the New York fans here. You know I'm a longtime Jets fan. So here's a dark horse for you, okay?
Here we go.
Are you ready for this? Okay. Aaron Rodgers, New York Jets. He already has 4 regular season MVPs.
That is correct.
Now, we know he's 40 years old. He just tore his Achilles. He was out for the year, but now he's back. So, Aaron Rodgers, right now, plus 1,600 to win the MVP. And if you shop around a little bit at certain places, plus 2,500. So definitely value there. Something to think about. It's like Ted Lasso, right? You got to believe, right? You got to have that sign, believe. So if you want to believe in the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, something to think about.
Yeah, that's also the mantra of Jets fans everywhere. You got to believe. You got to keep some hope there. Okay, so some value on Aaron Rodgers, plus 1,600. The odds are actually lower than Lamar Jackson, so I find that very interesting. All right, sports bettors, we know this. They love betting on division winners. And both the AFC North and the NFC North, they're expected to be 2 of the toughest divisions in football. The Baltimore Ravens, last year, they won the AFC North. The Detroit Lions, they won the NFC North in 2023. So let's look at each division. Who would you throw some dollars down on to take the division title for the AFC North and the NFC North?
It's going to be a great season, and of course, we want to make our divisional picks here. So my official pick for the AFC North is I'm taking the Bengals at plus 145. Now, it is close with the Bengals and Ravens. They're both sitting at around the same odds, but the reason I'm taking the Bengals, improved offensive line. We know Joe Burrow is back. The Ravens went 3-3 last year in the division, and with Burrow out last year, the Bengals didn't achieve their potential, right? So what that means for this year is they have an easier schedule. So that's something to look at when you're putting down a bet. It's a razor-thin bet either way. It could go either way. I'm taking the Bengals at plus 145. Now to the NFC North. This time I'm going to take the favorite, Detroit Lions. They are the incumbent. They went 12-5 last year. They're now sitting at plus 130 to win the division. That's who I'm going to take. In this division, they really do beat up on each other. So it's obviously a lot of people are looking at the Packers as well. Packers are young. We don't know exactly where they're going to be. I think the Lions are in a better position to win right now this season. That isn't to say that the Packers aren't going to have a great season. They definitely could. But if I have to make a pick right now, I'm going to say Detroit is a little bit more balanced. They're a little bit more ready to win right now. So therefore, I'm taking Detroit Lions at plus 130.
All right, Lions to win the NFC North, go back-to-back winning the division, and you took the Bengals to win the AFC North. A little bit disappointed in you, Curran. Thought you were going to pick the Steelers. Thought you were going to go with my Pittsburgh Steelers there, but no.
Is that your pick?
No, I didn't say that. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go that far yet. I'm not going that far.
It's different when you got to make the pick, put your money on it, right?
That's true, and there is good value there in the Steelers. I'll say that.
Good value.
We'll see what I do with that pick. pick there.
We'll see how things with quarterback get sorted.
And sorted out with that. So let's take a look at this, because this is another popular pick, right? Winning it all to win the Super Bowl. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, they're trying to become the first team to three-peat in the Super Bowl era. The Chiefs, folks, they are the favorites at plus 500. So, Curran, here's the question. Are you rolling with Kansas City, or are you looking at another team to place your bet with? Because this is intriguing for me with you, because you're backing Patrick Mahomes to win MVP. So do you think he leads them to the promised land, or are you going with another team?
I'm going to stay consistent with Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I am going to take them to win the Super Bowl. That's at plus 500. Of course, they are the favorite, right? They are the defending champs, and we've seen everything that they can do. Absolutely electric team. They've made some improvements, so I think good things are going to happen there in Kansas City. But let's just say it's plus 500, right? And we know the Chiefs and the 49ers, right? These are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Let's say you want to make it a little bit more interesting, right? The odds are okay, not great. Let's say you want to make it a little more interesting. I would look at who they could maybe beat in the Super Bowl to just increase those odds. So let's look at Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles. If you do that, it goes from plus 500 to plus 5,000 if you take the Chiefs to beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So that's just a way to get a little bit more value on your money. Both teams are favored to gain top 3 seed in their conference, right? That helps the Super Bowl odds for these teams. So that makes it a playable bet. And it helps you 10x your odds. So it's a good way to get some extra value there. Obviously, you can take whatever combination you want, but just something to think about.
Something to think about there, too. Good. People always looking for more value like that, but you're going with the Chiefs to win 3 in a row. We'll see if that can happen. Okay, Curran, sports bettors also like looking at player prop over-unders for the season. So give me your 2 best. We want 2 for the people. Best player props for the upcoming season that you think you're going to lock in as bets.
So no surprise here. We're going back to Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes over 34.5 passing touchdowns. Right now, that's at plus 125. So a couple things about Mahomes. Obviously, he's been in his prime. He's hit that number 4 times before. And last year was actually technically a down year for his standards. He had over 4,000 yards, 27 passing touchdowns. But that was actually a down year. Now, we mentioned Casey has actually added some tools. So they've added Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, right? These are tools that Patrick Mahomes can use to hit some of those touchdowns. So new tools there. Now, this is, of course, like we always say, barring injury. Now, one thing about Patrick Mahomes, he plays a lot of games. We see him out there. He's a tough, durable player. So I'm going to take the over. Patrick Mahomes, 34.5 passing touchdowns for the year. So that's number 1. Player prop number 2. We're going back to New York, right? So there's a couple themes working here.
Is this the Jets? Does this
We're going back to the Jets. We're going back to the Jets. You knew it was going to happen. Okay, Garrett Wilson, over 1,125.5 receiving yards. And right now, that's at minus 105. So we, as Jets faithful, know the quarterback struggles that, of course, have taken place here in New York, right, for the Jets. So Garrett Wilson, we know he's an electric player. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year. We've seen everything he can do. Obviously, we're all banking on a healthy Aaron Rodgers. So, therefore, we think that Garrett Wilson could have an even more breakout year than he's had in the past. Now, one thing to look at, Dexter, with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, of course, it's always QB and wide receiver. Chemistry is everything. So everyone remembers last preseason, Aaron Rodgers throwing a touchdown to Garrett Wilson. We're saying, hey, this is going to be our year. It wasn't. We all know what happened. We don't have to get back into it. But that could be our year this year, right, if you're a Jets fan. And the other thing, if you look at this year in practice and preseason, there have actually been a lot of clips, Dexter, I'm sure you've seen these, of Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson getting into, let's call it, heated discussions on the sidelines. And I actually think that's a really good thing because they're working out whatever they need to work out. And actually, Aaron Rodgers was asked about this. He said, I love those conversations. Those are good conversations. And he said, at least one of us leaves with a smile, right? So I think they're actually getting in sync for this season. So no reason not to be optimistic as a Jets fan. So therefore, I'm taking Garrett Wilson over 1,125.5 receiving yards for the year.
All right, there you go. He does that. That'll make you smile as a Jets fan.
Definitely it will.
Okay, keeping it local, we're going to do that closing out. We're going to look at some local player props. You just gave us one with Garrett Wilson. But I want to ask you this. This involves your Jets. Aaron Rodgers back under center after tearing his Achilles last season. And Curran, some people feel that if he's on the field, the Jets should be a contender, at least for the Super Bowl, or to push the Chiefs in the AFC. Rodgers is the favorite right now. to win NFL Comeback Player of the Year, of the award, that is. And that's at plus 200, folks.
Yep.
So, Curran, I got to ask you this. Would you bet on Rodgers playing enough games? Because that's what matters here.
Yes.
Playing enough games to win the award. Do you like him to win this award? Would you put your money behind him? Because there's some really intriguing candidates for this award this year. Do you like Rodgers? Would you put your money on him?
Like we said, Ted Lasso, believe.
There
you got to believe, right? So, yes, I am picking Aaron Rodgers for Comeback Player of the Year. Right now, that's at plus 200. Now, Dexter, you alluded to it. The million-dollar question, the multi-million-dollar question is, will Aaron Rodgers stay healthy, right? We know he's 40 years old. We know he's coming off of the Achilles tear from last season. So that is the biggest question, right? So that's the bet here. Now, I'm going to tell you the real MVP of the season, if Aaron Rodgers does win Comeback Player of the Year. It's not going to be Patrick Mahomes. It's not going to be Lamar Jackson. No. It's going to be the speed bridge. And the speed bridge is the procedure that Aaron Rodgers had to expedite his comeback, right? He was actually ready to play last year, which is shocking. Doctors were shocked. He was walking around. He was throwing passes in practice. Now, the Jets were out of it by the time Aaron Rodgers came back. But because of that procedure, he was able to come back. So my real MVP, yes, Aaron Rodgers for Comeback Player of the Year. My real MVP, if that happens, is the speed bridge. I mean, that would be incredible.
Well, you're banking on all that. If you make that bet, if you win that bet, you'll be thanking the speed bridge procedure. You'll thank that for sure. Okay, let's end with the Giants, because there's a lot of buzz around rookie wideout Malik Nabers. He's looked really good through training camp in the preseason. So let's take a look at the odds for Nabers to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Currently, it's the sixth best odds at plus 1,500. So that's great value for Nabers to win that award. Do you believe he can win that award? Would you back Nabers? A little bit of a long shot there, or are you going with somebody else to win Offensive Rookie of the Year?
So Malik Nabers, he's in the discussion, right, for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, it actually happened in New York with wide receivers in the past. Odell Beckham in 2014. We know Garrett Wilson in 2022. So this is not out of the realm of possibility. But unfortunately, I am going to say no to Malik Nabers winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year, predicting it here as we sit, right? And the reason for that is you're obviously going to need a dynamic offense, right, for that to happen. And I know plus 1,500 is great odds, but the Giants are an underdog in their division for a reason. They're sitting at plus 2,000 to win the division. So I think it's going to be a tough road for Malik Nabers just to get that offensive output and have that dynamic offense to lead him to Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, a couple other things that you could look at for Offensive Rookie of the Year. So, of course, Caleb Williams is the favorite. He's at plus 130. Everyone is going to be looking at him. Marvin Harrison Jr. is another one, plus 700. Now, Nabers, like we said, in the mix, but if I have to say yes or no right now, I'm going to say no. I'm going to give you one other idea, one other flyer, because I know you like to keep it interesting, Dexter.
I do.
So this is a little bit out of the box here, but we talked about plus 1,500 being good odds. Let's increase those even more, okay? I'm going to give you something that's plus 10,000, and that is, this is a flyer, Michael Penix Jr. to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. Now, what would have to happen is for Michael Penix Jr. to have that opportunity is Kirk Cousins would have to be out. Remember, he missed more than half the season last year. So if Michael Penix Jr. gets an opportunity, he could shine, and then he could become Offensive Rookie of the Year, right? So Offensive Rookie Player of the Year. So that sits at plus 10,000. So if you're going to take a flyer, that's a flyer. That's one way to look at it if you want to get some value. So thinking outside the box here a little bit, Dexter.
There you go. And if Penix Jr. does start, he would replace Kirk Cousins. Exactly. And Kirk Cousins is also in contention for Comeback Player of the Year, too, with Aaron Rodgers. We'll see how all that plays out. All right, some interesting bets.
Yes.
Some dark horses, some risks, some good value all around. NFL season is less than a week away, coming up on Thursday, so got to get in some of those bets early. That is Curran Bhatia. Check out the great work he does around sports betting, and host of Ask the Experts with Curran Bhatia. Curran, always a pleasure to talk some sports betting with you. I know you're ready for these bets in the NFL season.
I'm ready. Dexter, I just have one question for you. Do you believe?
I do not. Sorry, Jets fans. I do not. I used to. I do not.
You believe in your Steelers?
To do what?
To have a good season.
Yeah, I think it might be typical 9-8 season for the Steelers. Okay. I believe in that. Well, do I believe in the Jets will have a good season? Yeah, I do. I'm not going to go far as Super Bowl. I don't believe that.
Okay, but you believe good season for the Jets. All right.
Yeah, I think it'll
great. That's all we want. You just got to believe.
I want to see you happy.
I did my job. I did my job.
Want to see you happy. Want to see the bettors happy. We'll see. Thanks, Curran. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Dexter.